Greetings, everyone. Today we explore the question of whether walls have ears, and if they do, what might they be hearing at your place and ours? Join the Chappies for some fun and a challenge as they look at some humorous and sad scenarios, imagining you were a fly on the wall, so to speak.
Hi everyone, I'm Chappie Chris.
And I'm Chappie Peter.
Last week we speculated about the stories that might be told by a pile of old stockmen's hats if they could talk. Stories of dingo shooting, cattle branding, the odd stampede no doubt, and the joys of outback life.
Yes, the joys of being a drover in fact, eh?
That's right.
Yeah, do you reckon old houses could tell a tale or two as well, Christine?
Too right.
I wonder what sort of tales we could expect if we went back in time.
No doubt tales of gold, of struggles, joys, poverty, sweat, exhaustion, hunger, parties and laughter, and hopefully tales, singing, music, and even quiet prayer.
Quiet prayer. I know in our house as a youngster we would hear our dad praying beside his bed as he and Mum shared a nightly prayer together.
Anyway, join us for an entertaining look at the range of homes we have encountered in our travels.
And there's some more on a lighter note at the end, Christine. First though, look at this galvanised iron homestead hastily erected as a prop for a locally produced movie.
It's about 8 kilometres east of Middleton, a little stop-off boasting of one historic pub and adjacent house. It was a former Cobb & Co rest stop between Winton and Boulia.
You'd have to watch the movie, Christine. It was called Goldstone to see the role this homestead played.
So let's go back in time to 2016 when the fictional town of Goldstone was built from scratch in Middleton, 170 kilometres west of Winton.
And just for fun, we'll recreate the set where the homestead was the hangout for a visiting police investigator.
The characters do not resemble the real ones and are computer generated.
But it helps us get a visual on the whole thing. The homestead is Ridgy-Didge genuine, or was, Christine, as we know that neglect and the wind over recent years have paid their toll.
So let's put the set together, Peter.
How exciting, Christine.
You'd better watch the movie sometime. But one of Peter's favourite scenes was where the visiting police officer saved the local senior constable from an untimely death. Here's a computer-generated graphic to explain.
Awesome. Now here's a house made out of flattened kerosene tins in Malvern, in a different town. It's a bit drafty looking, Christine.
Not a lot of privacy either. Too many little holes.
And no insulation.
No doubt there were many houses made of similar and assorted materials. Housing for poorer folks, the walls in our imagination having ears, recording the struggle, sighs and simple conversations, and probably rare joys experienced.
Yes, and recycling too is there, hey? But what about this one in Ravenswood? 150 years old now. It was our schoolhouse 40 years ago when working at the nearby One Teacher School.
110 years old then, Peter. Bound to have lots of stories about the lonely lives of some teachers. One we heard of travelled to Townsville one day to buy a pizza. Only 120 kilometres.
Well, there's not a lot going on at Ravenswood at the time. And there was gold underneath, Christine. We should have planted those marigolds in the front garden deeper.
Since then, the school and house have been moved to allow a mining company to move in.
Yes, turned it into another little Mount Isa, in fact. Now look at these old miners' huts in downtown Ravenswood from the early days.
Lots of yarn spun within these walls, prayers said by the children, grace said in some God-fearing homes.
Simple houses, of simple but earnest folks eking out a living, struggling with poverty, raising families in primitive conditions with equally primitive resources and tools.
Another rather squalid-looking miner's hut at Lightning Ridge, quite a classic. And while we are there, let's look for a moment at other miners' huts in the area.
Yeah, one can't help but feel that in most cases there wasn't a lot of income in mining.
Now, Eldersley House, built in 1888 in Herberton, home of the founder of the town.
He was a miner and an adventurer called John Newell, and his house was rather posh, made of red cedar and white beech.
Looks like many social occasions were celebrated there.
Yeah, I believe he became a Member of Parliament too. We'd have to Google it and find out again. There were 2 castles in Lightning Ridge, by the way.
One castle provides holiday accommodation and is portrayed rather elaborately. The writer of Proverbs in the Bible talks about a house being built by wisdom.
And we read, quote, "By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures."
So, if the walls of our houses could speak, what story would they tell?
I wonder, would they mention laughter shared around the dinner table or too many arguments left unresolved?
Would they speak of prayers whispered in faith, or of worry that filled the night hours?
Would they recall the times guests were welcomed or needy folks listened to and helped, or the moments we turned away from helping?
Our homes are not just buildings, they are living places where faith, love and character are shaped.
That's interesting, isn't it? Every word spoken, every choice made and every act of kindness leaves a mark to which we can attest from our own childhood experiences growing up.
Imagine if Jesus himself were to sit quietly in our living rooms today. He does so by his Spirit anyway.
True, Chappie, and many families over the years had a wall hanging that said something like the one we're showing you here.
Would he smile at the peace and love that fills our homes? Or would he gently challenge us to make changes so that our homes reflect his presence more clearly?
A house that honours God is not perfect, but it is a place where love and genuine forgiveness flows freely and faith is lived out daily.
Many of us have no doubt been to homes where you could, in your private fancying, feel the quiet, indefinable presence of God.
It is harder to feel it with the television on, Christine.
So what story will your house tell in years to come?
A very good question. I suppose the ultimate question is, what story would it tell God today?
A final thought. Followers of Jesus are in themselves the house in which a king dwells.
That's an interesting thought, isn't it? The Spirit of God lives within each of us. And you know what, Christine? We can also have a flag, the flag of joy, because the King is in residence there.
Wow. And now a prayer.
Lord, may my life and house reflect your qualities. Please show me what changes I need to make so that my house can make a positive difference.
Well, that's all for now. Stay online for some questions for reflection and our regular segment on a lighter note.
Yes, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Questions for reflection. If the walls of your house could speak, what story would they tell about your family life and conversations? Would they speak more of laughter, encouragement, and prayer, or arguments, worry and complaint? Jesus, by his Spirit, occupies your home. What would he notice as he looks around? Would he smile at what he sees? Or would he gently challenge you to make changes? What atmosphere prevails in your home? Peace, love, and faith, or tension and unrest? Can visitors sense God's presence when they enter? What small changes could you make so your home reflects God's love more clearly and is a welcoming place of faith, trust, and security? As a follower of Jesus, how does your own life, as the house where the King dwells, reflect his presence? Does your life fly the flag of joy because the King lives within? When the story of your house, or your life, is told in time to come, what will people say about it? And now some items of a lighter nature. Talking about houses. What a great idea is shown to us here. Opal mining is obviously thirsty work. Here is recycling put to good use. While the sign on the door said, "Open," it wasn't. Not the tourist season. Hard to get volunteers to mind a collection of bottles, apparently. Have another quick look. Alas, the perils of crossing the road in Boulia.
Don't go across this silly sheep! Glad you're all safe, girls and boys.
You could have got run over. Did you know that? You could have got yourself run down, and that wouldn't be any good at all.
Lollipop lady needed, obviously. It looks like a little recruiting is needed. The old problem. What to do with old junk? This man, and his dog, has come up with a great idea worth emulating, that is, worth copying. Something for you to try with your old lounge, maybe. Stick your junk on a pole and call it something. If desperate, call it art. Make it high so no one can see exactly what it is. And no one can pinch it. This is the final product. A piece of sculpture, made from an old wobbly, some rusty telecom dishes and a pole. This is at Lightning Ridge, known as Ed the Emu, obviously well worth the attention of tourists, so long as you have good eyesight, or an extension ladder, or a drone. Make a note. Carry a ladder on your travels. You never know when you'll need it. A first aid kit would be a good idea too.